You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation, and this video we're going to do a review for episode 1 of season 4 Game of Thrones, entitled Two Swords. Now, right off the bat, you saw that the two swords were forged from the steel of the Executioner's sword from, you know, Winterfell. And, man, what an insult to injury, huh? You know, the funny thing about this episode, right off the bat, before I get into some more details, is that even while you see, you know, the sword being forged and split into two and being gifted to Jaime from his father, Tywin, you also get an idea that this episode kind of started foreshadowing some things to come for the Lannisters that just doesn't look too good. I mean, let's look at some things here. The prince who visited, and I don't remember his name. His name escapes me off the top of my head. I know he's a new character this year. Pretty much would have killed those two Lannister relatives in the brothel had it not been for Tyrion. Then he spoke to Tyrion, and you can tell this guy's got no love for the Lannisters, and he's probably there to fuck shit up. Let's just keep it real. Then you have, later on in the episode, actually towards the end of the episode, the Hound pretty much takes out some Lannister men. It just, you know, you get this feeling like, yeah, you know, the more they're in power and the more they have control of things, the more the world is kind of converging on them. And that's what I got out of this episode. Not everything I got out of this episode was that, but that's what I got out of those few moments in the episode. Now, before I get into the meat and potato of this thing, just to let you guys know, for those of you who have been to the channel before and have seen the other Game of Thrones videos, the comments will be set to approval to avoid any spoilers coming from troll book readers, okay? So if you write a comment and it doesn't pop up right away, that's why. I just want to make sure that all the comments are going to be spoiler-free. So, very good episode overall to start off the season. You kind of get in touch with all the main characters that we love: Daenerys, Jon Snow, Jaime, and some people do love him now, believe it or not. I'm growing. He's growing on me, but I still don't forget a lot of the things he did back in the day. Obviously, we look at Cersei a little bit, and you know, and I like that because the more this season, this show progresses, the more and more major characters come into the fold, the harder it is to kind of squash everybody into a 55-minute to an hour program. So it was nice that this episode, I thought it flowed pretty smoothly. You got a good time with everybody, kind of reintroduced, see where they're at now. We see that Jon Snow is, you know, pretty much was staring at death's door as he was being questioned about why he turned to the wildlings, and he was very honest about it. And you can tell that the old man knows that while some of his deeds were obviously very, very primarily killing the other crow, he understands what happened, and I think he probably has a better idea of why those events took place. So I think he knows that Jon Snow is a good man and that he's not really a turncoat. We go back to the King's Landing. We see that Jaime's there. At this point, he's been there for a couple of weeks already. And his father gives him this new sword. And he wants him to go back to Castle Rock and just, that's it, chill out. You don't got to be the King's Guardian anymore. Just chill at Castle Rock. I'll stay here and you can have the whole thing. And Jaime, you know, you can tell the difference now between where he was and where he is now compared to his family. His family's still very much on their high horse, still very much power hungry, and Jaime has been humbled. He has gotten fed humble pie after humble pie during his time on the road when he was captured and spending time with Brienne. And he's still a little cocky bastard. He really is. He made his fair cocky comments, but he knows what it's like now to be on the other foot because his family's treating him like crap. His nephew basically just sunned him in front of the other royal guard. His father just despised him for wanting to continue to be serving as a king's guard. His sister, as weird as this is to say, but his sister don't want to give him any play anymore, you know, or his girl or his whatever. It's just that whole situation is weird. She wants nothing to do with him, it seems like. And we really didn't see him and his brother together, so we don't know how that's going to play out. We all know he's very fond of his brother. Now, going back to that whole Cersei Jaime thing is just ugh. All right, so we get a little bit of Tyrion. We see that he's also in a rough position. Nobody likes him. Let's face it. The only reason Bronn sticks around is because he's getting paid. His squire is probably the only loyal person to him, and Shay's getting constantly impatient with him. Sansa obviously wants nothing to do with him, and he's got to look over his shoulder. He's just not in a good place, and I had a feeling he was going to lose some of his swag. He doesn't have that cockiness anymore, because we see that the major players in the Lannister family, and I should say Baratheon when I refer to Joffrey, they just treating these two like crap. Jaime's finally getting a taste of it. Tyrion's been getting a taste of it for the longest, and I'm hoping that maybe that brings them together and we could see something manifest between them in terms of maybe playing a role in overtaking the upper echelon of the Lannister family, for lack of a better term. But it was a good episode. We also got to see Arya with the Hound, and I like that whole sequence that happened between them with the in the inn. That was a very cool sequence. She still hates him, but I don't know. Arya, she's oh man, she's out for blood. I mean, what she did to that guy, she remembered word for word what he said to that kid, and she basically just repeated the whole kill. And she stabbed him in the neck. She said the same lines, and man, I gotta say, she is one badass little girl. That's again one of my favorite characters, along with Jon Snow, obviously Tyrion Lannister, and like I said, Marjorie's becoming one of my favorites as well. Queen of Thorns is great too, and we got to see a little bit of Joffrey, aka the homicidal Justin Bieber, I like to call him. And he is such a prick, man. He is such a bad. I mean, that's his uncle. This guy was captured fighting for them. Granted, we hated Jaime at that time, but let's be fair. He shed blood, lost his hand, endured so much time being under capture, and this is the thanks he gets for it. His sister just shunned him away. His nephew talks to him like he's a piece of crap, who's really his son. His father just wants him to go and retire. I mean, it's so weird the way these things work out, and I don't know. So Daenerys, let's get into her to finish up this video, because we obviously got to see her, and she's become so powerful. That scene that she had where the gentleman was giving her the rose, I think his name is Dario, or something along those lines. I can't remember him quite either, because I know he was there last year towards the end, and then they switched the actor this year, and it's being played by another guy. But he obviously, the character itself, is infatuated with Daenerys and gives her the flowers and is trying to teach her about the land, but at the same time he's trying to charm her. And it's so funny because back in the day, you remember Daenerys, and she was so innocent. She was not aggressive, very passive. Now she's got that look like she knows what the hell she's doing. She's being charmed by him, but she's not letting him know. She's so well seasoned. And man, those dragons are awesome. But you can see that as they grow bigger, she is losing a little bit of control. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because I think the dragons will always respect her. They will always treat her good. They will never harm her. But I don't think they will listen to her. I don't think, unless she says, the fire word, and of course they'll breathe fire. They got no problem with that. But I don't think that's not a good thing if she can't control them, because even though they may not harm her, who's to say that they might not harm some of her own people or some of her own, army people. So, and last thing I gotta say, man, I think Grey Worm is probably one of the most badass characters on the show. He's so silent. He's a badass fighter, and he's so viciously loyal to Daenerys. It's not even, and who could blame him? I mean, she freed him. So, just a really good episode. I'm so happy the show is back, especially after The Walking Dead ended. And, if I didn't have Game of Thrones to pick me up after The Walking Dead, boy, I'd have some post-Walking Dead blues. But it's nice to see Game of Thrones back. First episode I thought was good. I think is setting everything up. We got to visit all the major players to see where they're at this time. Obviously, there's a wedding coming soon, so let's see what happens with that. We can see that Joffrey's finally going to marry Marjorie, and I'm dying to see that. I think the boy needs to get laid. I think Marjorie's probably going to start controlling that. Cersei sees that happening, which is why she's not happy about it. Man, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good 10. Well, now it's going to be 9 weeks. First episode's done, but it's going to be a good season. A lot of things are going to happen. I think we're going to see a lot of Lannister blood this year. This episode just alone foreshadowed that for me personally. Just Lannisters are in power, but something's going on there. You know, the ones that died at the end. You know, the little Lannister family issues going on. So we'll see how those things play out. Anyway, guys, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.